Welcome to Universe Rewind, the only show where you can get up to date with Co-op Universe. This week in Universe was absolutely wild. We saw Raw Superstars on BCW, we saw two rookies try to one-up each other in their second match ever, we saw unpredictability on Monday Night Raw, and we saw a pay-per-view quality episode of Friday Night Smackdown. With all that and more, I'm the host of this Universe Rewind show, Elliot James, and let's see what happened in this week of Universe. So the first thing to talk about is what happened on BCW. Of course, BCW, if you don't know, that airs on Sunday nights, and of course this show is Saturday nights. Now, and with that being said, this was BCW's second ever live broadcast, and with the first one, they knocked it out of the park, with their main event being James Fatal and Chris Danger, two BCW veterans, battling out to see who will be the very first ever BCW World Champion. James Fatal won on that night, and for their second live broadcast, we saw a rematch between Alex Rain and Adam Daniels, two rookies who had their first match on the first live broadcast of BCW, and on the second live broadcast, they had the rematch. So throughout the match, they were just one-upping each other, and when one did something, the other would try and, do something better. One-upping, that's what it is. And then, Alex looked better in this match when compared to the first, but Adam still looked a lot better. They stayed on the outside for quite a while, and Adam ended up getting a surprise win at the end of it when he was able to catch Alex off guard with a crucifix roll-up. And then the main event of this second live broadcast of BCW, we saw four Raw Superstars duke it out in a tag team match. We saw Apollo Crews, Titus O'Neil, Titus Worldwide versus Slater and Rhino. Now, Titus Worldwide started off on the hot foot. They were dominating quite a bit in the early stages of the match. Slater and Rhino got some good offense in. But what really turned the match around was when Rhino took Apollo to the outside, started to unleash some of his inner hardcore from his ECW days, just slamming Apollo into the barricade and then into the steel steps, stuff like that. And when it was all said and done, Rhino won with a gore. And Apollo took the pin in that match. So that's back-to-back losses for Titus Worldwide. And in both of them, Apollo took the pin. So that's not good for Apollo Crews or Titus Worldwide. And I definitely want to see where this takes both teams, but especially on the front of Titus Worldwide. But that second broadcast of BCW, that's really all that there is to talk about. But now it's time to talk about what happened in the WWE. Now, the very first thing to bring up is early in the week, the WWE employed another new employee by the name of Adrian Williams. Now, I've talked to Adrian a bit, but really all I know is Adrian is going to be doing commentary. Whereas, I, Elliot James, commentate on Raw and, of course, BCW as well. They're going to move me over to Smackdown, and they're going to put me with Adrian. Because apparently Adrian, he's got a little bit of experience commentating, but not a whole lot. So, we're going to be working together commentating Smackdowns. So that'll be interesting. But other than that, let's just go ahead and talk about what happened on Raw. So, Raw kicked off with the first second round match in the World Heavyweight Championship tournament. That was AJ Styles versus Hideo Itami. They started to put on a pretty good match, but before they could really get going, Bray Wyatt, or the lights went out. When they came back on, Bray Wyatt was in the ring, and he hit Sister Abigail on Hideo Itami, which caused AJ to be DQ'd. Now, I don't know why. No one knows anything about Bray Wyatt. No one knows how to predict what Bray Wyatt's going to do. But that's what happened. And all I can think of is, why is Bray targeting AJ? Because as we know, Bray cost himself the win in the tournament last week. And then, it just, now to cause AJ to get disqualified, allowing Hideo to move on to the final round, I don't get it. But either way, after that match, the crowd caught part of a conversation between Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas as they were arriving to the arena. They were in the parking lot, the garage, and they were saying that they were the best, that they need competition, and Bo Dallas called the Raw general manager James Merkerson lousy, and just saying that they weren't getting competition. Now, I know James Merkerson, and I know he will not be happy with that comment, but we'll have to wait and see what he does. But either way, after that little conversation, we saw Sami Zayn versus Elias. That was the final first round match of the tournament, and Elias tried to start off hot, but he got caught out early, and Zayn started teasing the audience. He made people think he was going to dive, he was going to springboard. Instead, he would just get back in the ring, get off the ropes, and we just go into some other normal move instead of trying to hype up the crowd with his high-flying antics. He ticked off Elias, who started teeing off, but at the end of the day, at the end of the match, Zayn won by making Elias tap out to the Koji clutch in what was a very surprising match, because Zayn was not competing like he normally would, and that completely caught Elias off guard. But hey, a win's a win for Sami Zayn, right? And now he's facing his best friend next week in Long Island. So hey, but speaking of Long Island, Zack Ryder and TJ Perkins, the cameras caught a conversation with them as well. TJ immediately walked up to Zack and said, "Hey, I want a rematch, Zack. You have to give me a rematch." And Zack straight up said, "You're not worthy." In fact, Zack said the only thing that TJP deserves is to be back in the bingo halls. But Zack said, well, he's feeling generous, so he's going to go to the Raw GM, set up a match with TJ and Kurt Hawkins next week in Long Island, of course. And if TJ can if TJ can beat Kurt Hawkins, Zack said he would give TJ a rematch at Extreme Rules. So there's that. What do I think of this match? Honestly, I don't know. Because it's interesting, right? It's very interesting. I don't know. Because Zack Ryder, TJ Perkins, we saw what Zack did to TJ, 2 weeks ago at this point, almost 3 weeks ago. And it was a very dominating win. Or it was a very dominant win. And TJ he looked kind of alright, but he didn't look all that great. So I kind of am sitting in the same boat with Zack here, but after the comments Zack made, I would love to see TJ beat Kurt Hawkins next week and then get an opportunity. But hey, we'll have to wait and see there. But of course, we had the main event, which was announced last week, Mickie James versus Ruby Riott. If Mickie won, she would get a shot at Alexa Bliss at Extreme Rules, and if Ruby Riott if Ruby Riott would win, there would be a number one contenders battle royal at Extreme Rules to then crown someone to face Alexa somewhere down the road. They were actually putting on a good match. Mickie started to look really good nearing the end. She hit the Mickie DT when just two women randomly came out. Ruby Riott's music came on. The women, they came out staring down Mickie. And the distraction caused Mickie to get hit with a Riot kick and allow Ruby Riott to pick up the win. Now, I have been told that the women who interfered are known as Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan, but I don't know what kind of relation they have with Ruby Riott here. Clearly, they either have a vendetta with Mickie James or they've got some sort of alliance with Ruby Riott. But I don't know. But there's something there. But I was also told that the Raw general manager, James Merkerson, actually has signed Morgan and Logan to Raw contracts. He signed them out of free agency, so that's very interesting as well. Kind of rewarding them for coming out and interfering on your show. So, I don't know. He did that, so that's, again, very interesting. But we'll have to see where that goes. And that's actually a very interesting thing. Either way, though, like I said before, the distraction cost Mickie the win, and that means at Extreme Rules, we are getting a number one contenders battle royal. And now, I believe I already said this, but in case I haven't, my brain has been absolutely fried over the last few weeks. So many insane things happening. But I do know, in case I did not already say this on Raw, James Merkson meant to say that the Battle Royal at Extreme Rules would be Royal Rumble style, not Battle Royal style. So I'll just reiterate that here. But that's Monday Night Raw. But let's talk about good old Friday Night Smackdown. So on Smackdown, we saw, like I said before, a pay-per-view quality episode. And that pay-per-view quality episode started off with Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks. Now, both women put on an absolute pay-per-view quality clinic of a match. It was near 30 minutes in length. And Becky Lynch looked really good. Sasha had some really good moments in there as well. But Sasha definitely looked injured, hurt in that match. So something that, ended up happening to her in the match definitely, I would say, hurt her, but we'll have to get more info from the trainers and from Tyson on that matter. But either way, after that match, Becky Lynch ended up going on to find the counter to Sasha's best move, the bank statement, roll her up by countering the bank statement, and that gave Becky the win. And more than likely, we're going to see Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey at Extreme Rules. But again, Tyson has not given an official confirmation on that, but based on what we've seen so far, I would assume that. But after that, we saw Shelton Benjamin versus SmackDown's newest superstar, Rey Mysterio. And honestly, I love this acquisition from Tyson. That's a very amazing pick. SmackDown has always been the home of Rey Mysterio, and just seeing him, being signed out of free agency, getting this opportunity to shine on SmackDown again is absolutely amazing. And he's, they were starting to put on a good match, and then out of nowhere, Rey missed a diving move. Shelton caught him off guard with an inside cradle, and he stole the win just like he did 2 weeks ago against Cedric Alexander. And that was very interesting. Very interesting, but he didn't get any time to celebrate because Cedric actually came out. He didn't do anything, he just stood up on the stage, but Shelton hightailed it out of there, going, running past the ring, jumping into the crowd, so he didn't have to face Cedric at all. So there's definitely some bad blood starting to form there, and I definitely want to see where that goes. But after that, the camera, thank God the cameraman caught this. They caught Ronda Rousey attacking Becky Lynch in the locker room, and then she powerbombed Becky through a table. Of course, this is coming off that 30-minute instant classic of a match with Sasha Banks. So it just a horrible attack. It wasn't as bad of an attack as, say, what Kevin Owens did to Matt Hardy. But it's awful to see backstage altercations, especially when Tyson has said that he does not want his superstars, having backstage altercations. He thinks everything should be, settled in the ring, and he's definitely got a point there. But either way, that did happen, and then we saw the final match on the show, which was the Revival taking on Drew McIntyre in a handicap match. Drew tried to fight as long as he could, but at the end of the match, he was hit out with a shatter machine, and the match ended 1-2-3. And yeah, that's all there is to say. The Rival got a win, and that gets them to Extreme Rules to face McIntyre and Ziggler in a title rematch. So that's really interesting there. But after that, again, thank God the cameraman caught this, but they caught Ronda Rousey attacking Sasha Banks in the garage, and she slammed a car door on Sasha Banks. So, of course, with her already being injured, that is not good. And then she slammed Sasha to the concrete floor with her Rowdy Buster, that spinning Samoan drop. So, again, that was not good at all, and I definitely want to hear an update on the condition of Sasha Banks. But after that, the show was about to go off the air, but Jeff Hardy came out. He started to say something, but we didn't really get to hear anything from him as Roman Reigns cut him off, ran down to the ring, with a just pissed off look on his face. But as soon as he hit the ring, he was nailed with a twist of fate. And then Jeff Hardy went and got a ladder from underneath the ring and he started to climb up it, and then he just was teasing the crowd, saying, "Oh, you want me to jump? You want me to jump? You want me to hit a swanton off this ladder? Yeah, I won't. I will not do that." But of course, before he set up the ladder, actually, he did drop Reigns with a second twist of fate. And then after he got done teasing the crowd, he dropped Roman with a third twist of fate. And that's how the show went off the air. So Jeff, once again, playing complete just mind games with Roman Reigns. And seeing how pissed off Roman was as he ran down to the ring. Honestly, somewhere down the road, I'm going to feel really sorry for Jeff Hardy. Because Roman's going to get his revenge. You know Roman's not going to forget. He's not going to just give up on trying to get revenge. So, Jeff Hardy, I guess, what you're doing right now is working. But you need to have 2 eyes in the back of your head. But either way, that is all that there is to talk about with Universe. It was a very wild week of Universe, very unpredictable, but definitely good. But I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed another edition of this recap show. I've been Elliot James, and until next time, I'll see you later. Bye, guys.